In 2004, an environmental activist named Sumaira Abdullahi drove out to investigate an illegal mining site near her home in India. When she arrived, 4 men dragged her out of her car and beat her, including the son of a local politician. What she discovered was something almost impossible to believe. The men who attacked her weren't protecting drugs, they weren't protecting weapons, they were protecting sand. It sounds ridiculous, but sand is the second most consumed natural resource on Earth, right after water. And the world is running out of it, faster than anyone is willing to admit. There are criminal organizations making hundreds of billions of dollars from stealing it. Islands have physically disappeared because of it. And the most shocking part? 95% of the sand covering the world's deserts is completely useless to us. This is the story of the most overlooked resource on Earth, and the hidden war being fought over every single grain. Sand is in everything: the concrete in your walls, the asphalt under your tires, the glass in your windows, the silicon chips inside every computer, smartphone, and solar panel on the planet. Every year, the world extracts between 40 and 50 billion tons of sand and gravel from rivers, lakes, and coastlines. That's roughly 18 kilograms per person every single day. To put that into perspective, if you lined up all the sand extracted in a single year, it would build a wall 27 meters high and 27 meters wide, stretching all the way around the entire planet. Without sand, modern civilization simply stops. Here's the question almost everyone gets wrong. If we're running out of sand, why don't we just use desert sand? There's literally trillions of tons of it, sitting unused. It's a perfectly reasonable question, and the answer is one of the most counterintuitive facts in geography. Desert sand is almost entirely useless for construction. Desert sand grains are shaped by wind, smooth, round, and almost perfectly polished. They don't bond together. Pour them into concrete and the structure crumbles. The sand we need is angular, rough-edged grains shaped by water, found in riverbeds, lake beds, and coastlines. These grains lock together like puzzle pieces, creating the structural strength that holds up skyscrapers and highways. This is why Dubai, sitting in the middle of one of the world's largest deserts, imports construction sand from Australia. You read that correctly. A country surrounded by endless desert, spending billions to ship sand across the ocean. That's not a quirk. That's a warning sign. The consequences of the global sand crisis aren't coming. They're already here. 24 Indonesian islands have disappeared, completely erased from maps as a direct result of illegal sand extraction. Sand dredged from their shores was sold to Singapore to help it physically expand its own landmass. When Indonesia eventually banned sand exports, Singapore had already used enough sand to grow its territory by 25%. Beaches across Florida, Morocco, India, and Vietnam are shrinking, not just from rising sea levels, but because the sand is being physically removed and sold. In the Yangtze River in China, over 200 million cubic meters of sand have been extracted from a single river system, widening it, disrupting its ecosystem, and causing parts of the delta to sink into the earth. Rivers in Cambodia, Kenya, and Colombia are running dry, not from drought, but because the sand holding their beds together has been stripped out, causing banks to collapse and water tables to drop. Entire farming communities are losing their land, and it's only getting worse. Where there's scarcity, there's crime, and the global illegal sand trade has become one of the most lucrative criminal enterprises on Earth. According to a federal police specialist in Brazil, the global illegal sand trade generates somewhere between $200 billion and $350 billion per year, more than illegal logging, gold mining, and fishing combined. Let that sink in. The illegal sand trade is larger than the global cocaine market. In India, which has the third largest construction industry in the world, sand mafias operate with terrifying impunity. Trucks run at night. Officials are paid to look the other way, and anyone who investigates them risks their life. Sumaira survived. Others weren't as lucky. In 2015, journalist Sandeep Kothari was abducted and burned to death after exposing sand mining operations in central India. In 2018, journalist Sandeep Sharma, who had asked police for protection after receiving death threats, was run over by a truck on a quiet road, the same kind of truck used to haul stolen sand. The vehicle was caught on camera, swerving directly into him before speeding away. These weren't isolated incidents. Mining mafias in India have been linked to hundreds of deaths, including journalists, police officers, and ordinary citizens who simply asked too many questions. In Morocco, approximately half of all sand used in construction every year is illegally mined. Between 1990 and 2021, illegal sand mining was recorded in 35 African countries. In Jamaica, the country's prized white sand beaches, a national tourism asset worth hundreds of millions of dollars, are quietly stolen by the truckload at night. In one incident in 2008, hundreds of tons of beach sand vanished from a single stretch of coastline in a single night. This isn't petty theft. This is organized crime at a geological scale, and people are dying to stop it. The world's urban population is expected to grow to 5.2 billion people by 2030. Every one of those people will need housing, roads, schools, hospitals, all built with sand. By 2060, the construction sector's annual sand consumption is projected to reach 4.6 billion tons, a 45% increase over current levels. But the supply isn't growing, it's collapsing. Some countries are beginning to act. India's Maharashtra state introduced new laws making illegal sand extraction a criminal offense in 2025, but enforcement remains weak. The United Nations Environment Program has called for urgent global cooperation, but no binding international agreement exists. The world is consuming sand at a rate that nature cannot replenish. We have built an entire civilization on a foundation that is, quite literally, running out from under our feet. The next time you walk on a beach, look down. What you're standing on isn't just sand. It's the raw material of the modern world. It's what your city is built from, what your roads are paved with, what your phone screen is made of. And somewhere, right now, someone is extracting it illegally. Someone is being threatened for reporting it. And an island, somewhere in the world, is getting a little smaller. The hidden war over sand has been going on for decades. The only thing missing was someone paying attention. Now you are. If you want to understand the hidden forces shaping our world, the economics, the geography, the stories nobody tells, subscribe. We'll see you behind the map.